Commander Shepard could be anything from a complete, almost a saint, to a borderline psychopath, but they're both saving the galaxy.
They give you all of these like languages and special things you have to say, and I'm like, they are just trying us. They are just trying to see if we can keep it all straight.
You're watching convention coverage.
SAG-AFTRA is on strike right now against some companies because we would like to get a fair contract around AI, which I think is reasonable. And also, it is a little bit of a canary in a coal mine for all creatives, no matter what you do, right? So it's not just about voice actors, it's about all creatives and really all people, right? Because AI is a little bit of an existential issue as well. Wouldn't you say, DC? Or is that getting too philosophical?
That seems philosophical to me, Courtney. I'm not sure if that's allowed.
I think it is very fair to say. It's actually, AI could be our savior or our ending. So.
Exactly. So until we get that worked out, we just have to say that this is why we're on strike, and we appreciate all of your support on social media. If you would like to support the actors, you can let politely game companies know that you would like a fair contract for us so we could get back to work. And we appreciate you paying attention and respecting that when articles and things come out that maybe we're not going back to work, etc., that it's because of this, not because we don't want to. And we hope that being in negotiations right now, we will get a fair contract and get back to work doing everything that we love for you guys who we love as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So, that being said, thank you. I'm Courtney Taylor. I'm the voice of Jack in Mass Effect. Thank you very much. I'm going to go down the line here and introduce themselves, this beautiful cast.
Hi. I'm DC Douglas, and I am the voice of Legion.
Hello, I'm Mark Meer. I am the voice of Blasto, and also Commander Shepard.
Buried the lead there.
Yeah, you threw me for a loop.
Hi, I'm Ash Sroka, and I'm the voice of Tali.
Yeah!
And I'm William Salyers, and I'm the voice of Mordin Solus.
So, Bill, how'd you get into this?
How did I get into
This convention.
The building.
event today?
Yes, exactly.
That door.
Why didn't security stop you?
I walked through this really long, murdery corridor that was kind of terrifying, but you guys were there, so I felt safer. I did not create the role of Mordin Solus. That was created by an actor by the name of Michael Beatty, and for reasons I don't know, he didn't come back and reprise the role in Mass Effect 3, so I was lucky enough to be asked to do it, and I couldn't believe how moving the writing was, and how great the direction, and of course, the incredible people I got to work with.
I was in my age, it was part of a stack of many pieces of copy, mostly for fast food and telephone companies. And then there was this one script for this unnamed game, and it said, Gypsy, what did it say? It said, mysterious, unidentifiable gypsy accent, young alien on a quest to find herself, something like that, pretty close to that. And I was like, oh yeah. And I kind of skipped through all the other copy, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready for this one. It was a tiny booth at the time, and it was a monologue, and then I think some improv actually, and the accent came out of me, and I fell in love with her, and then I got a call that I got it. Like, it was like, poof, and it's magic.
I knew exactly what I was getting into because I'd been doing a lot of work. Hello, I'm Mark Meer, hello. And I'd been doing a lot of work for BioWare since the days of Baldur's Gate 2, native Edmontonian, where BioWare is based. And because I'd done a lot of work on pretty much every BioWare game since Baldur's Gate 2, I had a working relationship with them, and I was brought in during the concept art stage of Mass Effect and asked to put together a presentation on what the various baseline members of various alien races might sound like. So what would a typical Salarian sound like? What would a typical Krogan sound like? That sort of thing. And so I was working on it before the story had been written when, again, I was just given a big binder full of concept art, information about the various alien races. And during that process, as I was laying down various things and, presentations for the devs, I was asked to audition for the role of Commander Shepard, and held out absolutely no hope that I would get it, which probably helped because I was not nervous about it at all. I was just like, there is no way. And then over the course of months, I was informed, oh, you've got a callback. Oh, you've got another callback. And then I was informed, it's down to you and 2 guys from LA for the lead.
Ugh, that phrase.
Yes, seriously. Obviously, one of them will get it, and I will play a bunch of aliens. Then I was told, oh no, you are going to be playing Commander Shepard, and you're going to be playing opposite Jennifer Hale, one of the most prolific voice actors of all time, as the female Commander Shepard, and you're going to get to be a bunch of aliens as well. So it really worked out well for me.
So actually, it was mine. I auditioned for it. In retrospect, I now know that I auditioned for it over a period of 2 years, I think. And the first round, get this right, the first round, and you can find this on YouTube. I put it up years later, my audition stuff. And in the first round, he was more militaristic, and I forget the description fully, but it was like all the dialogue was like military stuff, or we're about to go into battle as a robot, but with a human quality to it. And that was the first round. And then like a year later, what I thought was a different audition came up, and it was describing essentially they wanted like Hal from 2001, but a little more human, less ominous, but still a robot. I'm like, that's a very specific, area, the line that you have to walk for that kind of an audition. And then the piece they gave was Friends, Romans, Countrymen, Lend Me Your Ears. But it was rewritten to be, you knew that was the base of it, but they rewrote it so that it was sci-fi-ish. But that's what it was. It was a speech being given at a memorial or something.
What was it? Lend me your auditory units, or
like
something like that
effect? Yes, exactly. So that was I think what they were looking is they felt that everything got too military or too, and they wanted to feel soul. Mm-hmm. They wanted to feel soul.
Does this unit have a soul, DC?
Yes. Actually, you have to ask Tali.
I auditioned for it, and I got chosen, I guess, and I don't really remember anything about it.
You should have a little respect for the person who asked the question.
I know, sorry. My bad.
That's the story of your life. I auditioned and I booked the gig.
Well, no, because here's the thing: is that I had auditioned for a lot of BioWare stuff and hadn't booked it. I had gotten close, and so I don't know that I really clocked this one because I was probably mourning Dragon Age. But yeah, it was just standard fare auditioning, and then I had no idea what it was. So, but I did have to go into my agent. It was back when we still went into our agencies. I know that because I went back to look for it, and I don't have a copy of my.
Let me ask you, would you feel better? So, you would audition for Dragon Age, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Do you think you'd feel better or worse if, like in my case, you got into Dragon Age twice, and in each game they replaced your voice?
Yes.
So I should feel like
You should feel like
feces right now.
sorry if you're under 18. Oh, sorry, kiddo. I'm sorry. He's not even paying attention.
In the defense of anybody who gets replaced by a voice in a BioWare thing, apparently what it is there's so many characters and they rewrite as they're going, and so I went in for a one shot on this one character. Great guy, little person, dwarf, going around stealing from all the dead people on the thing, and then he takes you on a mission. And I did that, was great, and then they replaced it because, as I found out later, they rewrote the dialogue, and they go, who's in the booth? And so it's one of those things. So they'd throw it to whoever was in the booth to wrap up that way.
Wait,
and that happened on two of them.
Was it Tug by any chance?
The name of the character?
Yeah.
If he was stealing from the dead people and he takes you on a mission and he's dwarfy.
Guys, just in short, if you want to be a voice actor, just know there's a lot of heartbreak. It's not the same as on-camera acting where they're like, well, she's in every scene and we can't like erase her. Yeah. They're like, oh, it's no problem. We'll just pull the voice file and move on to someone else. So, it's a rocky road.
What was the most challenging part of bringing your character to life in the game.
I can say that Jennifer and I had a particularly unique challenge ahead of us because there is no standard canon Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard, just from the start, could be either male or female, and also within that, Commander Shepard could be anything from a complete, almost a saint, to a borderline psychopath, but they're both saving the galaxy. So we didn't have, unlike a lot of people who were playing other companion characters, we didn't have a set, Commander Shepard character. A lot of the Commander Shepard character was determined by player agency, and so we had to find what is the core of Shepard? What is the same across all versions, Paragon, Renegade, no matter what kind of background or class you have. And ultimately what we settled on was Commander Shepard is a military officer that is used to giving orders under pressure, and that's essentially the core of Shepard. So I think, we in particular had a different set of challenges than the rest of the cast.
Obviously, my my job was easy: roll out of bed, clear my throat, and start talking. But I will say, I was fairly new to video games, and I'd only done a few. Actually, the majority of them had been JRPGs and stuff, which I didn't think of them as video games. I thought of them as like anime, but on a disc. Disc. Sorry, yeah, I'm very old. I'm very old, and But it was the first time, because the game I'd done a year earlier was Resident Evil, and it was very operatic and cheesy and over the top. And all the JRPGs, as you know, can be a bit like that too. So when I got this script and I talked to Ginny, who was director on 2, which was when my character starts talking, I was so excited to realize that it could be cinematic acting, and it didn't have to be, everything didn't have to be telegraphed, and there could be a lot of subtlety in the voice. So that I liked. And the challenge, though, would have been on the third one, even though even though you guys don't experience me that much in the game, the way that we recorded it was that if you kept me alive at the end of 2, then I'm very friendly to you in 3. If you let me die, then I'm really cold to you in 3, as though I don't know you, I've never known you. And then there was a third version which was supposed to be neutral. They could go either way. So every scene that I did, even though there were not that many, we had to do them 2 or 3 times, depending on, I had to be the cold one, then the warm one, and then the neutral one. So that was a little bit of a challenge to make sure that there was enough difference without breaking the that tightrope of a character description that I told you about earlier.
I think I think the biggest challenge was, I think I recorded pretty early in the sequencing, and so I very, very rarely heard anyone else. Shepard, I think, was first, did everything. So I would hear Shepard sometimes, but sometimes it wasn't to picture yet. This is what I remember. It could be wrong, but this is how I remember it. So I think one of the biggest challenges was having a very specific, the very specific relationships with each character and how I viewed them and how they affected me and changed me over time, because I didn't ever hear them. So it was, and this is often the case with video games, you'll get story and they can tell you as much as they can tell you, but so much of it is in your imagination and whole relationships that, you have the information from the text, but you're not getting the nuance of the essence of the other character. So it's just what you make it. And I think continuing different relationships with so many different characters over time and having those characters change and and me changing over time, I think that would probably be the biggest challenge.
I had been acting since I was 15, but I had never done Gilbert and Sullivan. So that was just a different thing for me. It wasn't as difficult as I anticipated it would be, but yeah, I thought that was kind of a unique and challenging thing to do.
For me, it was, Jack was not challenging. I have a lot of parallels in my personal life that are sort of similar or referenceable for the things that Jack goes through. But the emotional, deep dives were, I wouldn't say challenging, but a little, they were heart-wrenching. And it it wasn't hard.
How does voice direction, like in the booth, differ between avatar characters and supporting characters? Because I know you did some of the aliens, and you also did Shepard. I was wondering how the direction is different in the booth.
Less beatings.
Yes.
I guess fewer beatings, excuse me.
I mean, I would say, again, I kind of touched on it earlier. With Shepard, both Jennifer and I really relied on our directors for context of where we are in the story. Also, is this the renegade path? Is this the paragon path? Is this a neutral path? So there was a lot more, I guess, information that we had to get, like, in a given Shepard scene. When I was playing, like, say, a Vorcha or Blasto or thing, it was usually a lot simpler. It was like, this guy wants to mug you, or, you know, Blasto is an actor, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I would say there was usually a lot more detail given, and I would assume this applies across any game. When you are the main character, yeah, there's going to be a lot more context given, a lot more background given, as opposed to if you are just playing, like, say, in Dragon Age, I was a lot of characters whose names were their jobs, like Lyrium Merchant, Unscrupulous Dwarf, you know, that sort of thing.
Hey man, those pay the rent. I'm just gonna say.
It's true.
Yeah,
You know.
that's
But
true.
I mean, well, let's.
Like,
I don't know.
Parchment merchant. Woo!
But when you were the main, like the voice protagonist in Fallout 4, you probably discovered the same thing, right? Because you can be completely ruthless in that, or good. So yeah, did you discover the same thing when you're voicing a protagonist as opposed to voicing an ancillary character?
In what sense?
In that you're getting a lot more information given to you by the director as opposed to you're a mercenary in this scene or what?
Yeah, and also I do some voice directing as well on games, and it definitely is the arc of it when you're working with a player character. You are trying to craft something that will hold up in many different situations, with many different choices, obviously, because that is very popular. And I find that the ancillary characters, the trick for those, or the thing that makes them really pop, is just finding their humor and humanity in a very short period of time. So it's more about, instead of the arc of the story, it's like, in this moment, who can you be? And so and if you do it well as an actor and a director together, those are the little characters that become kind of fan favorites, where you always know that, like if someone goes like, oh, you know, I loved you as this, and you're like, really? That, like, you know, you rung the bell on that one. But it can be challenging for both, because obviously you're coming in and sometimes only getting like 5 lines as this character. So how do you? They're actually, I love doing those characters because I love trying to find something about them that will make them pop. But yeah, you don't get anything. You're just like, hey, you're an algae merchant underwater in this shell. Go. And also, if you're an aspiring voice actor, I always talk to students and people who ask, doing your research, doing your work before you get into the booth, because a lot of those characters are the ones that, even if you are a player voice or Legion or somebody who's a companion, you will be asked to do those. So even if you're like, hey, I've got this nailed, a lot of times you'll come in and they'll be like, oh, actually, we have you for a couple more voices. So could you do this, Scottish fox? And so you better be able to be like, absolutely, I got my Scottish fox right here, let's go. So.
Well, now I need to hear your Scottish fox.
True story, someone asked me for that, and I did not have that in my back pocket. So
I don't have one either.
Yeah, that is, I was like, so, yeah.
Though I agree.
Could he be British?
I know, I was literally like, could it be literally anything else besides Scottish?
Irish fox?
Could it be a fox that just says, it's a great day for auto racing? Because that's
I'd buy that as a Scottish fox. That's
I was
great.
like, but yeah, so it is, those are the two things. And they're equally juicy in their own ways and equally tricky.
And I'll agree with that, actually, because, I was playing Shepard, so usually we'd have a mountain of work of Shepard scenes to go through. And then at the end, they would throw in, oh, do you want to play Niftu Cal, the biotic god, or the Pizza Volus? And those are the ones that I had a lot of fun with.
Did you say the pizza, Vorcha?
No, Pizza Volus.
Oh, I was
There
like,
is a
there is
Volus
pizza
who delivers
Vorcha?
pizza.
Like this is the content we need, guys. A pizza delivery Vorcha.
Did you guys have any favorite aspects of the game related in the science fiction aspect, like the ships, the Mass Effect cores, the alien biology, maybe the astronomy and everything?
Unfortunately never got to play the game because I don't play games, and when I've tried, it's been pathetic. And you can see it on my website. I've got a streaming playlist. But I would like to watch someone else play through the entire game one day, because. But what I was exposed to, obviously, was with stuff that I recorded. And the one thing that I really enjoyed was there was the Geth history. I'm not sure somebody at one point in the game, or you can go in and click on something, I guess.
Oh, it's codex entries, probably.
Oh, sure,
Yeah,
sure. But you have all these different moments of Geth history, like really, and it turns out the Geth history is really sad. A lot of horror and torture and stuff. But anyway, to me that was like fascinating, because it was holographic the way they did it and all. And as an acting thing, it was kind of cool because I'm the voice of all Geth, so it was kind of cool to have do these horrific moments of history.
Yeah, I would say the thing that appealed to me most, and this might be because I got to read it all before the game was out, it was just the universe building. The history of the various alien races, the first contact war, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just the very rich, textured history that they had developed for the entire galaxy and the various interactions of the alien species with each other. And I did also like the fact that, they put in, not all species can digest the same food. Just like nice little touches.
I'm kind of a horror fan, and so the idea of I found the idea of the genophage very compelling from just a biologically horrific standpoint. Something that's designed to destroy an entire species that's pretty dark.
I liked that Stranger Things took Jack's story and made it into Stranger Things. That was my favorite part.
Now
I was
that you
like,
mention it.
Oh, hey, that seems kind of familiar. 11. Only 11. Just one name, 11.
I was always like, wow, that's pretty amazing, because they definitely boosted quite a bit of Jack's storyline. But I also loved the idea of, not loved the idea, but was very interested in the whole biotics thing. And the...
Yeah, Jack even had a number designation when she's first introduced. That's right. The similarities.
somebody, a word. Yeah.
Maybe those guys are big Mass Effect fans. Who knows?
They totally are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought all of that was very interesting. I thought that there was so much about the game that I loved, as far as even just the fact that there was just a multitude of different races and species all coexisting or not together. There's a ton of stuff to learn and be intrigued by the game. And what I also find really fascinating is that even though we did this, I was only in 2 and 3, but this game is now, 17 years old?
18 now.
18 years old, and people are still playing it, still interested, and passing it along to, somebody actually said, my grandfather turned me onto this game, and I just slid under the table at the last convention. I was just like, Nana says thank you. But yeah, it really holds up, which speaks to all of the elements of the game.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your favorite starship from the games?
Gotta be the Normandy.
Yeah.
Probably the SR2, to be honest.
Agreed.
Yeah. Of course.
Is it
that's home.
unanimous? It's a unanimous answer. We won.
I like all
We won.
spaceships.
I like the Death Star. Oh, wait.
Oh, the Death Star? Yeah.
Excuse me.
Not technically a ship, Courtney.
That's a satellite. It's a space station.
I know. I couldn't think of what.
And as big
A TIE fighter?
TIE Fighter, that is a ship.
Yep, that's a ship.
X-Wing, that's a ship.
I don't know.
The NCC 1701.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for answering my question.
Of course, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I don't know if any of you guys ever played the games when you got done with the acting, but for those that did, I don't know if the big reveal at the end of 3 where you have the multiple choice endings, if you were aware of that. For those that played, which one did you pick, and what was your reasoning behind picking that specific ending?
Well, I've got 2 answers to that. I did play, and my favorite, although I didn't actually get to the end of 3 in my own playthrough, because I was playing at BioWare before release, and so I'd got, about 10 or 12 hours in. But but the save files were, of course, at BioWare. So I got my copy of the game and then just realized I'm going to have to replay that 12 hours. And also I didn't have the incentive of, I've got to finish this one before we start work on the next one. But I do know the endings quite well. And my favorite ending of 3 before the extended edition, the extended ending, was Destroy, because of course, there's at least the possibility of Shepard being alive. You see the inhalation and the N7 chest and the whole bit. But after the extended ending came out, Control was my favorite, because Shepard essentially gets to become Galactus. And of course also Jennifer and I got to voice that ending. So yeah, I would say before the extended ending came out, Destroy, and after Control.
I didn't play it, but I heard that each ending had a different color that told you, and that if you were colorblind, you didn't know what ending you got. Did they fix that?
There was basically red, blue, and green. Yes.
Yeah, I believe
right. So for a colorblind person, did they come up with like an additional thing?
No,
or
in the
something?
extended edition, it's still you get 3 different color endings.
Yeah.
Oh, but does it say?
It fills in details, and there was I know the ending of Mass Effect 3 was a bit controversial, but most people, any problem they had with it was in terms of closure and clarity. And I think BioWare really addressed both of those points well with a combination of the extended ending and the Citadel DLC, especially in terms of closure. The big party on the Citadel, which my friend Kathleen Rootsart was a big champion of. She was one of the writers. She made the point that we really need to give people a chance to say goodbye to these characters, all these characters.
Well, I wasn't on the Citadel.
Oh, well, no, I guess not Legion. Or
They didn't
actually
have
not
apple
Mordin
martini.
either, sorry. But yeah, so that sort of closure that you get to have with these characters that you've spent so many years with.
If the alien races existed from the game, which race would you personally like to have first contact with?
When you say bias, I want to Geth. They got hive mind knowledge. I want that. Which I have now with AI. So
yes, I mean I will similarly being biased. I'll pick either the Vorcha or the Volus. The Vorcha because I'm all of them, like DC's all of the Geth, and the Volus just because I might want some pizza.
Anybody but the humans.
I mean, we're human as well. That's why I'm I would like to meet other races out there.
Yeah,
I was curious,
yeah.
I'm getting tired of everyone just wanting to be humans. I'm can we play as a Quarian?
Yeah.
I like Quarians.
Yeah.
I'm pretty wide open, just no humans.
I just want to meet Tali. I just want to meet Tali and give her a big kiss. Right on the mask, visor, whatever it
Other
is.
than the Quarians, I would. Right?
Quarians?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can say
Quarian.
No, Quarians. I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Quarians.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Is it
You bet.
Quarian or Quarian?
Quarian.
Quarian. Isn't it with an A though?
I always remembered in the booth
is it
that
with
it
an
was
O?
like a rock quarry. That's how
I never had to actually say it because I just
Yes, because
wasn't.
everyone was always saying it to you. Yeah.
This is that disappointing moment in the panel when you realize that you all know way more about it than we do.
Actually, there was a thing about my name that changed over time where it was a question, was it Tali or Tali? And Shepard would say Tali, but others would say, anyway, that is...
I was told to
it's
say Tali,
inconsistent. I think it's inconsistent. I say Tali, but others say Tali.
That's the other thing is sometimes you have multiple directors on a game and you have, I feel like the writers do this on purpose. And sorry if you're a game writer out there, but sometimes they give you all of these languages and special things you have to say. And I'm like, they are just trying us. They're just trying to see if we can keep it all straight. And so I feel like a lot of times we'll also go back and be like, hey guys, did so-and-so say this Tali or Tali?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, Tali? Well, I said Tali, and everyone's like, well, in the universe, there are different pronunciations of her name, so we'll just go with that.
Various species have different
Courtney,
mouth structures,
Courtney.
so they say names differently.
And then they would also, you get a replay from other sessions to match, and they're completely different, and then they just tell you to do something in the middle. And then
Right.
okay.
Split the difference.
I love that.
It's a very long process, and sometimes you're in the middle of crunch, and they're very tired.
To Courtney's point, I love the copy that you get where they will give you the pronunciation for laboratory, but the line is like, "How dare you, Thrachmichbachtung?" And you're like, I have no idea how to say that. And, that I could have used some help with.
Do you find yourselves overanalyzing people's voices in your everyday life? Or do you ever try to use your voice acting to manipulate people?
All of the above.
Nice.
All of the above. I am a voice stealer. I was sitting at the vet and I was recording this woman who was sitting next to me.
Now that is illegal.
That is actually illegal, yeah.
It was for research.
Sure.
I literally have her on my phone still. If you come to my table, I'll play her for you. But she had such an amazing voice that I was like, I will never hear anyone who sounds like this again. And so, I literally was like, she can't be on something because she's at the vet with her dog. It's not like we were at like a party or something, but it was so amazing.
I don't know. They usually keep a fair bit of horse tranquilizer at the vets.
I don't think she had been seen yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yes, I steal people's voices all the time. I've stolen my parents' accents. That's how I got into voice acting because my dad's Australian, my mom's English. I will poach people, and every once in a while, should I say that on the mic? I have potentially called and said I was other people when calling representatives who may or may not be in our political system.
Oh yeah.
When in the late teen, or maybe it was early odds, I had taken over. Kevin, you know Kevin Carr? Anyway, there was an actor who used to have this management company in the early '90s that I ended up taking over for him, and basically it was a self-submission. Other people would pay a monthly fee, and we'd submit them too. It's how you get the breakdowns. It was not legal, and but it was how you where actors are trying to whatever angle they can. So, but the thing is, if they called to make an appointment, I had to be not
You were
DC
definitely
Douglas.
British.
So I should have been. I was Maury Stein. Maury Stein was the agent,
Please
and we had
chomped on a cigar.
in my mind, it's Maury Stein here. How can I help you?
DC Douglas is amazing.
And Maury Stein booked DC Douglas on Renegade, just so y'all know. So
Okay.
that was an easy negotiation. They said scale, and I said, sounds good.
I don't know. Sometimes when it's unsolicited phone calls, just answer in a weird voice, and then hopefully maybe they'll just stop calling. I don't want to take a survey, so I'll just answer as a Muppet. That sort of thing. But no, I have not gone to the trouble of creating a fake agent for myself like DC has. No.
I definitely steal voices all the time. My favorites are groups of kindergartners, like a whole classroom of them is just the greatest thing ever. But I won't record someone. But I will leave, run to the bathroom and then record myself doing whatever I can remember as quickly as possible. And then in the car, usually on the way home from something where I've heard either a voice or many voices, I'll just record and I'll just speak in as many of them as I can so that I can reference them later. And my favorite manipulation piece would be when I'm often my own assistant on business calls, and then I'll come into the room and get involved, or be the what's it called, the heavy, but that's not the one who's calling, but then the heavy will show up, and then I have to apologize for the heavy, and that's really fun.
You're the bad cop and the good cop.
I'm the bad cop and the good cop and the one trying to keep it all together, and that's really
Okay, so I recorded a couple people on my phone. Hi.
I'm not as creative as any of these people, but I find myself if you were to watch me sitting at home watching TV with my wife, you would think that I had some sort of bizarre mental deficiency because I find myself sampling out. I don't even mean to do it. I'll just be sitting there, we'll be watching something, I'll be like, "You should not even be here. You should not even be here. You should not even be here." And she's just like, that's just what he does. It's okay.
Yeah, like an echo of anything you're watching, an echo of most of the voices. No one wants to watch anything with me.
Oh yeah,
ever. Forget a cartoon show. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
very
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
Thank you.